afternoon, and welcome to our Glendale City Council workshop. This meeting is for council members to review and discuss important issues, projects, and future council meeting agenda items. It's a work-study session only and allows the council to hear input from city staff. No action will be taken at this workshop, and there will not be an opportunity for public comment. This meeting is streaming live on Glendale's Facebook and YouTube pages and the city's cable television station, Glendale Channel 11. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Glendale City Council workshop session of January 9th, 2024. The meeting is called to order. Attendance roll call will not be done because everybody's here. If you'd make note of that, I would appreciate it. With that said, if we could go ahead and ask Ms. Moreno to go ahead and introduce item number 1.
Council item of special interest, repeat offender ordinance.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. Happy New Year. Here to provide the staff report for our first item is Deputy City Manager Rick St. John.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. As is our practice, we have a council item of special interest on a repeat offender ordinance that's been scoped with Councilmember Tommelchoff. And in that scoping meeting, we did talk about the fact that we have an administrative policy on repeat offenders for the Code Compliance Division. So the scope has changed a bit to bringing a public conversation in front of the council on that policy and how we administer that policy within the Code Division for repeat offenders. So today I am just seeking consensus to move that forward for public discussion with you all. And during that public discussion, there will be opportunity for comment from council about how we administer that program. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but again, just looking for consensus.
Thank you, Mayor. I think probably myself, less than some of the rest of you, because I have HOAs that handle a lot of the issues with residential communities. But I think we've all seen the havoc that repeat offenders can create in our neighborhoods for our neighbors. And part of the idea, and I had to discuss it with Mr. Bailey, was maybe adding a prosecutor that can actually being able to prosecute some of these and having a whole separate set of penalties and fines and way of handling a repeat offender, kind of like what we did with fireworks. We basically said we want to take strong action. We want to deter people from violating the law, which basically is what code infractions do, especially the repeat offenders. And we've seen the emails that we've got from various constituents where people have, in 1 year, 10 or 15 or 20 different violations. And I think it's at least worthy of a discussion to see if there's a way where we could frame an ordinance that specifically targets repeat offenders and makes it very uncomfortable for them to continue ignoring the city trying to get them into compliance, because it disrupts the quality of life in people's neighborhoods and it hurts their property values. So I'd at least like to see if we could get a consensus to move this forward and bring it back for a discussion. Thank you.
I would concur and add my consensus to the suggestion. Thank you.
Eleanor?
Thank you, Mayor. I also agree with this concept. Now, I think the residents understand that when code compliance goes out and they find an issue, they always give them an opportunity to repair or correct the issue. It's not like they get a citation immediately. And I think we need to continue that. We need to be lenient with first-time offenders that have violated a code unknowingly, or perhaps just out of not understanding the law. But what I've seen throughout the city is that when an individual has been explained what the rules are regarding code and they continuously violate them, I've seen where there are many times where they kind of take advantage because they know that we're not going to really do anything if they do it again. So they could go a month, clean it up, go another month, have a violation, and they know if they can just keep rolling it and nothing ever happens. So I'm in agreement that we need to have a discussion about it and see what we could do to help improve the overall nature of code compliance in the city. Thank you.
Aldama?
Thank you, Mayor. I also concur with the other 3 council members. If this comes back, could you bring data that demonstrates the man hours being encumbered by repeat offenders? Because there's a byproduct of that. If you're continuing to work with repeating offenders, you can't go out and enforce new cases, and or what the council member said, work with a family, a citizen, and say, hey, this is a warning, but we want to work with you. So could you bring data back that demonstrates how many man hours are being spent on repeated offenders and how many repeated offenders?
Mayor, Councilmember Aldama, yes, we will bring information about the current program and how it's being used and the man hours that go into it.
Thank you, and I agree with Councilmember Malnor. Our practice should be then, you and I had a discussion yesterday that it is, that not always is it a citation, it's more of a warning, it's education, it's awareness. And then if you follow up on that, I don't consider that a repeat offender. I consider that a follow-up. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. You mentioned that we have a current administrative policy. Could you review that for me and for the public?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, that would be the work that we would bring forward under this council item of special interest at a future workshop.
So there is no policy at the current time?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, we do have a policy. The council item of special interest is a public discussion about that policy.
Okay, what is the policy? Can you describe it as it currently exists?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, on your 3rd offense, you receive a letter from the city identifying your property as a repeat offender property. On any 4th or subsequent offense in a 12-month period, you're immediately issued a citation.
All right, thank you. Then I agree with Councilmember Tomachoff. I think this is a matter for public discussion, and we need to figure out ways to beef up that policy. Thank you, Mayor.
You.
Thank you, Mayor. And I appreciate for the explanation. I'm in favor of moving forward with this, Mayor.
And my only thing I'd like you to bring back is give us some scenarios if it's a renter that's violating and not the person that actually owns the property, how that process works, and basically, you know, if there's a violation and prosecution, that type of thing, how that, you know, give us some scenarios how that would work out. Last thing we want to do is create a problem for the owner, but at the same time, sometimes it's, I guess it's like the HOAs, you got to have somebody making them do it, and if the city is upset with it and we're tired and the neighbor's saying no more, then I don't want to penalize the owner. At the same time, I don't know how you go about doing that. So,
yes, sir.
Some scenarios on that would be nice. But it sounds like you got a unanimous consent forward. So
thank you.
Item 2.
Council discussion regarding selection of a vice mayor.
Mayor?
Yeah, hold on a sec. Mr. Lee.
Mayor, members of the City Council, this is your item. As you know, through your council guidelines, you have the responsibility to elect a vice mayor who will serve at the pleasure of the council from January to January. Per the council guidelines, at the first workshop of the year, which is today, you have the opportunity to make a nomination or an intention to nominate for this evening, and then this evening the item will come back for a formal nomination and a vote by the council.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I am going to nominate Councilmember Ian Yu for the position of Vice Mayor for 2024. And I would just like to thank Council for allowing me to serve as Vice Mayor during 2023. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Okay, well, we can't take nominations now. We'll have to do that tonight. But that's your intention for tonight?
Yes,
okay.
That's my intention.
Anyone else? Okay. Very good. City Manager's report.
Well, while I know we had a little bit of time off from formal meetings, it's been December is a very busy month. I wanted to real quickly just show you the DCRP project is moving along. I'm going to show you just a couple of slides. But in future reports, Oakland Construction is going to do, I think, a really good job of documenting with photos the progress of the work on the DCRP. So as you can see here, they've started to expose on the outside. They've taken the material off so they can start demolition within the building itself. I believe I've been told that the opening on the 4th floor is actually my office area. But that's what I've been told. So I guess it would it obviously has plenty of good air circulation at this point. Inside the building, this is the garden level. They're starting to do the excavation there, so that's coming along. And then again, you can start to see they're making hay on removing all of the electrical. There's been a lot of work done over the last several months just to map out all of the things like our fiber optics and all of that. So it's kind of funny. It looked like things are happening here, but there's been a lot of work getting to the point to where the contractor can come in and actually start removing items within the building. Oops, let me go back. One of the negatives, Mayor, is this is your conference room here, I believe. And the contractor said we could not save and maintain the wallpaper that's been on the wall there. So I know that'll be a disappointment. But in seriousness, you can see where, as we start opening up the exterior, the opportunity for more windows and more light to come in. And so again, if you kind of remember your conference space and the limited amount of kind of exterior viewpoints, you can see this framework that the design team now have to work within. It won't be 100% glass, obviously, but you can see a good opportunity to bring in more natural light into all of the spaces within the building itself. So I'll continue to try to be a little bit more detailed on pictures, but we'll be working, pretty closely with the contractor to tell the story as we're moving along. The other thing, just want to thank the council for attending the anniversary today of the Desert Diamond, the 20-year anniversary. Had a great turnout, and we've already got a great story posted online from the Arizona Republic with a great headline. So I think the media team did a great job of working with the media to get them there to cover the celebration. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. City Attorney's report?
No report at this time, thank you.
Okay. Council item special interest, Mr. Aldama.
None at this time, Mayor.
Mr. Hugh?
None, Mayor.
Mr. Milner?
Nothing today, Mayor.
Ms. Tomchow?
Nothing today, Mayor.
Mr. Turner?
Thank you, Mayor. I have two, and that's not one of them. Both of these, they're similar in nature, and they both relate to the two most common complaints that I get from residents in my office. One will be of no surprise, and that has to do with fireworks. Back in August, Councilmember Hugh had a council item of interest at that time on fireworks. We got a memo in October from the city manager's office regarding what is being done proactively to reduce the amount of fireworks that should be disturbing our neighbors. I got a boatload of complaints again this holiday season, so my request on this item of interest is to bring the council data that we can look at that will show whether the proactive steps we've taken are making a dent in things or if it's getting worse as it kind of feels like it is. Number of complaints received, officers dispatched, tickets written, any of that kind of stuff. So if we're not making progress, we can tackle it again in time for the 4th of July. And the second one, similar in nature, has to do with loud vehicles, racing vehicles, that kind of noise that is disturbing the peace in our neighborhoods. And I know we've done some work on that, and I'd like to see some data again on whether or not we're making a dent in that. How many interactions, how many warnings, how many citations, how many vehicles confiscated, whatever we're doing. I'd like to see some data so that if it's not productive yet, we can figure out what to do to make it productive. Those are my two. Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
Nothing today, Mayor.
And I have nothing. We have a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
A motion and a second to go into executive session. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote aye.
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 Any opposed, vote nay. You guys do have it. Going to executive session. With that, the council meeting is recessed.